Hi guys, so this is the third time trying to make this video. I've been either interrupted or had phone calls or something happen in the middle of it, and I'm going to try again, okay? So it's been about a week or more maybe since I sent my last video. I want to update you guys on what I'm doing and what I got going on. So as you know, if you've watched these videos, my goal for my second quarter in 2018 is to scrape together $3,000 worth of Bitcoin to get into the masternode scene. All right. The reason for that is the majority of, if not all of, my Bitcoin comes from mining. So Hashflare and Genesis. Altcoins and gems will kind of understand this, and probably everybody else really does understand what mining is. So in August, and the majority of my mining capacity is with Hashflare, and in August those contracts are expiring, and I will not be able to generate the Bitcoin that I have become accustomed to. So I've really struggled with what am I going to do to replace that model. I don't want to just keep sinking money into Hashflare because I have to renew it every year. I want to find something that I can count on a little bit more, like with Genesis. If they're lifetime contracts and they haven't changed that, when they have hardware available and I have cash, I'm going to Genesis. But right now I don't, so I have to come up with plan B, so to speak. So my plan B has been, after thorough investigation, I want to get involved with masternodes with Crypto Farm 7 out of Missouri here in the United States that I was turned on to by Jason Jenkins and their trading chat room. Also from Buy or Sell What the Hell. That was actually where I first heard them in a podcast. I'm also going to tell you guys, I was sent a video that shows their mining operations and it actually functioning and running. And if you're interested in me sharing that, please say so in the comments and I'll have to figure out how to do that with YouTube. I will try. I asked Cowboy Dan to send me something because I'm not able to travel to Missouri to just see it for myself. I wanted to get some sort of feel that it's for real, right? Right now with Hashflare and Genesis, Genesis does a really good job of videos and communicating with their public, not necessarily the public, but communicating with the people that may be looking into them, and they feel very legitimate. Hashflare is yet to do that, although I did see an interview that said they were going to try to do something of that nature. They're also developing farms now in Iceland, which is where Genesis is located. Al probably knows about this. He just put out a video this morning regarding Hashflare being 3 years old and being very legitimate. I can vouch for them. Crypto Mom can vouch for them. Doesn't mean they don't disappear tomorrow, but I really do believe they're the real deal. I will back Al up 100% on the claim of Hashflare being legitimate. My concern is not with Hashflare specifically, aside from the fact that they changed their mining contracts to be from being forever, basically, or until they weren't profitable, to annual. And that really kind of torqued me. So that's the only problem I have with them. So my contracts, the majority of my contracts are expiring August, and I want to find something to replace that with. The other thing is that you guys got to remember, 80% or more, somewhere between 75% and 90, okay, of Bitcoin is already mined. All right, it's going to be mined out or just about mined out in 7 more years. So I'm really looking to the future as to what I'm going to be doing when it comes to cryptocurrency and mining. So what I decided was that I wanted to learn from Jason, and I want to use Rhythm Network when it's totally fully functional, which it's not yet, to increase my value. Okay, I need to start socking away money for this plan, right? I can't just sit around and wait for Bitcoin to be worth $12,000, $15,000. 4 months could go by and I could be back where I started. So what I need to do is I need to grow my position. I need to grow it to $3,000. So I have my Bitcoin coming in from Hashflare, from Genesis, that I'm scraping together. But what I'm doing now is trading around a core position. So the Bitcoin that I received from my miners, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is not the right number, but I'm going to tell you so for mathematical purposes it makes it easier. The last payout I took from Hashware, 5 Bitcoin. Okay? That I established as what's referred to as a core position. The level that I wrote down, that I entered the market at with it, because it was like given to me, right? It's like found Bitcoin, so to speak, was at the time $7,600 roughly, and it was worth approximately $400. So now my core position is 5 Bitcoin. I don't care what the dollar value is, okay? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to move. I've got my core position. I'm going to move out and move in and move out and move in based on the movements of the market. So what do we want? First thing we want is volatility. I don't care if Bitcoin is trading $1,000 or it's trading at $10,000. What I care about is, wow, it went from $1,000 to $1,100 to $1,500. That is a 10 to 15% gain. If it goes from $10,000 to 11,500, that's the same percentage gain, okay? I care about the percentage gain or loss. I don't necessarily care so much about where it's moving to and from for pricing purposes. And let me tell you, that's something that's extremely liberating, okay? That's one thing that helps me sleep at night. I don't care what the price is. What I care about is the movement that it makes, okay? And also establishing a plan and what I'm going to do if it does this or it does this. If it goes up 10%, I'm going to take one Bitcoin off, all right? I'm putting cash. If Bitcoin falls 10%, I'm going to buy it back with that cash, okay? So when I enter a core position, or anybody enters a core position, all right, if the market immediately turns against you, you kind of can't really, there's nothing you can do. You have to have patience, okay? You can't start working that position until you've got some gains to take off the table, so to speak. So what I did was I entered the market, or I penciled in that I entered the market at 7,600, and it went to 84 something, and I took off a Bitcoin, okay? It was a little more than 10%. The plan is if that level sees another 10% gain, I'm going to take another off. If it sees a 10% decline, I'm going to put it back on, okay? All around my core position. So I've taken one off. If it drops 10%, I'm going to put one back on. I still have 5 Bitcoin. And hopefully, based on the profit, on the difference in price, I still have some money. I still have some cash squirreled away on the cash side, because it did not cost me as much money to put a Bitcoin back on as I had sold it for. Does that make sense? So in the dollar values I'm dealing with, I'm only working in the $100 framework, okay? So I took $100 off. I'm going to buy back in and spend $90. I still have $10 squirreled away in cash, and I'm still trading in a core position of 5 Bitcoin. You guys get that? Okay, if you don't, you got questions, ask me in the comments. This is one of the models that Jason teaches. It's referred to as trading around a core position, and that's defined by your risk tolerance, your tolerance for risk. How much money are you willing to put out there that you're going to play around with? Because that's basically what we're doing, is we're playing around with this, right? So I really hope to see, and I'm watching for Bitcoin to break 10,000. And then in order to say that we have an upward momentum to start getting back to 20, or to do what we all know we want to see and what it can do, it needs to get above 12. For the last 2 rallies, it has not been able to do that. I'm not saying anything new. This is not my own original information. I would never plagiarize or try to present it as being such. I'm just trying to condense and summarize and put into my own words what I'm learning from Jason, okay? I am really excited about those guys, their platform, the Rhythm Network, how that's going to unfold going forward in the next 6 months to a year. I would say in another 60 days, Rhythm Token is going to be available for public sale, and I plan on getting some depending on how it works. But the idea of being able to listen, I already listened to Jason. I'm only executing my own trades, and it's not even on an exchange. I do it on Uphold, and I've shared with you guys what Uphold is and how it can be utilized. I'll touch on it briefly again. I can go from Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, gold, peso, euro, Japanese yen. They've got a plethora, a ton of currencies that you can move in and out of, okay? It's not an exchange platform. okay, which can be kind of intimidating to people. You really just, they put up these pseudo cards. They look like debit cards, but they're labeled as the unit of measure that you're dealing with. So it's either a Bitcoin card, Bitcoin Cash card, Dash, Litecoin, Ethereum, and then also the actual currencies: Japanese yen, the British pound, the euro, Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar, and you can go back and forth from those units of measure at the click of a button. Now, here's the thing when it comes to my trading around a core position. It costs me 1% or more, depending on the units of measure. If I go from Bitcoin to US dollars, I believe it's 1.05% to move from one to the other. So what that means is to go in and out cost me 2.1% of the trade of the value. All right. So my model is built on right now a 10% move. In reality, I'm only going to see an 8% gain or pick it up at an 8% discount because of those fees that I've got to pay when I move in and out. But quite frankly, if I'm picking up 8% every 2 to 3 days, 4 days, if you calculate that out, that's pretty darn good. Okay? Hold on, mail truck. So if you calculate that out on a 30-day basis, you could see some pretty decent percentages, okay? Equivalent to what we were looking at before with ICOs and their interest payments daily, that I don't have to move it to an exchange, move it back to my wallet. I do this all in my Uphold wallet. It's really, really convenient. You can see some higher fees depending on what you're going into and out of, but it's all very clear and spelled out on Uphold's platform, and you should be able to mathematically compute what it's going to cost you. Then you can, for your own self, determine how much of a percentage you're willing to take or that you want to make. Take or make, let's put it that way. Whatever it is you want to take or make, and you know what the fees are going to be, you can calculate that in. Personally, like I said, if I can make 8% a week, I'm a happy camper, okay? If I can double my money in a month, I'm a happy camper. So that's the plan and the strategy I'm using going forward to grow my Bitcoin, so that 3 months from now, if Bitcoin is at 12,000, the Bitcoin I've been able to accumulate from doing this and implementing this methodology is going to take me to 3,000 by the end of the quarter. That's my goal. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up because it's almost 13 minutes. Please tell me in the comments if you want me to share the video from Crypto Farm 7 and the units and what they've got going on. You know, Dan from Crypto 7, I told him, look, I've got to scrape together these funds, okay? I don't have them just sitting around to put to work. And if you can be patient with that, we can do business. I cannot express to you enough. He didn't pressure me. He didn't say, oh, if you don't get this done now, you're going to miss out. He didn't try to incite any fear of missing out at all. And he said, hey, that's fine. When you got it, call me. If you got any questions, text me. They really are awesome. And Jason Jenkins is a stand-up guy who knows what he's doing. He's in it to win it, and he would not invest the kind of money that he's invested with Crypto Farm 7 if he didn't feel it was legitimate. And I, for one, can tell you my experience has been very, very, very positive. So please, comment what you want to know about. I'm sorry it took so long to get this video to you guys, but that's what I'm doing. If you want me to update you on my core position trading and how that's going down, also please put that in the comments. Feel free to private message me. I don't have a problem with that. I try to monitor it the best I can. And hey, hang in there with Crypto Gems, with altcoins. They are doing their very, very best to keep this community together, and I support that wholeheartedly, 150%. I'm out, guys. Have a great day, okay? And I probably won't talk to you till over the weekend, past the weekend, so have a good one of those too. Out of here. Bye.